Walk through any modern high school and you'll find extensive, highly engineered infrastructure. You have fiber optic networks routing terabytes of data, climate-controlled HVAC systems, and complex tiered intervention frameworks designed to track student progress. School districts spend millions of dollars to fund, inspect, and maintain these systems. The logic is that the building's success depends on these frameworks. If the infrastructure fails, everything built on top of it eventually fails too. But consider a specific student. Their grades have begun to dip slightly, their mood is shifting, and they've started drinking on the weekends. The official reporting tools, attendance algorithms, discipline logs, and counselor referrals are designed to trigger when a specific threshold is crossed. Until a student misses enough days or fails enough tests to trip an alarm, the formal record shows no change. This creates the awareness-response gap. On the left, friends and teammates notice the trouble weeks before it ever reaches a desk. On the right, the official system finally registers the problem, but only after it has escalated into a visible crisis. This gap exists because our information architecture is built on the assumption that help-seeking starts with an adult. But research into adolescent behavior tells us the opposite. Students prioritize peer trust over adult authority. When we build safety nets that only activate based on late-stage indicators like attendance and discipline, the school remains a reactive force, arriving long after a student's peer group has already begun processing the struggle. The official model for student support is a vertical flow upward to adults. In reality, adolescents disclose downward to peers. Information moves laterally through a dense, informal web. This is relational infrastructure. These are the high-traffic pathways where early warning data travels. You can find it in every building. It's the sophomore classmates confide in this week. It's the group chat where a friend's behavior is noticed and worried about, or the teammate who sees the mood shift weeks before the grades move. This net will capture the custodian students actually talk to, or the coach who hears everything, or the paraprofessional who knows which freshman is eating alone. Even though this network doesn't appear on an org chart or in a student information system, it is currently carrying the heaviest load of early warning traffic in the building. When this infrastructure is unacknowledged, it becomes unpredictable. Critical information gets trapped among students who care about their friends but don't know how to help, causing identification to lag by weeks or months. Without adult support, peer networks can reinforce risk. Adolescents often overestimate how much their peers are using substances, and that misperception drives their own decisions. There's a systemic risk. If a student brings a concern to an adult and it's handled poorly, like breaking confidence, that pathway permanently closes. The entire friend group learns the lesson at once. Don't tell. One mishandled disclosure can shut down an entire branch of the peer network for years. By treating this peer network as invisible, schools miss their richest source of early identification data, allowing manageable concerns to grow into high-intensity crises. Rerouting this system involves integrating the existing lateral relationships into the school's formal support framework. It requires a shift in perspective, viewing the peer network as a primary data source that needs the same maintenance as physical infrastructure. When we acknowledge this infrastructure, we move our detection point upstream. This allows for earlier identification, meaning a school can respond with a supportive conversation when a problem starts, rather than a crisis protocol after it explodes. Formalizing this network also builds social connectedness, the sense of belonging that serves as a primary protective factor against substance use, mental health crises, and dropout. A 2024 RAND study highlighted the power of this approach, finding that increasing social connectedness was the most effective intervention for chronic absenteeism, outperforming both enforcement and tutoring. This is a strategy for efficiency. It allows districts to maximize their existing support systems, like MTSS or counseling, by feeding them better data from the adults and students who are already on the front lines of student life. The path forward involves training every adult in the building to recognize behavioral indicators that surface early in peer groups, and providing students with safe, predictable pathways to share what they know. Every other system in your building has someone responsible for maintaining it. Who maintains the relational infrastructure?